What do you use?
Hey guys.
Hi.
I'm Kathy.
I'm Nancy.
Oh, I'm Lauren.
And as always, we are here with our fabulous Wednesday Facebook Live. Oh, look at my hair.
You know, I keep looking up, but the camera's there.
My hair is wet because yesterday I was in Toronto for the day with my genius friends. We're working on it, and I took a shower and was looking for my hair dryer, and it is no longer where it used to be.
Oh no, you left it in Canada?
No. It was home, but I think Elisa has relocated it. So, yeah.
Damn kids.
I look like this. So we don't care what we look like. It's all about the information.
What do you mean? I think I look great.
They look great. That's
I thought your hair looked
I'm
nice.
just kidding. Your hair does look nice.
Oh,
Lauren's eye
God.
makeup looks really
I'm
good.
covered in dog. I was just at the school,
Yeah, we
so
just
I'm
came from
covered
the
in
school.
dog hair.
Yes, and I came from the airport, so I'm covered in
TSA.
airport.
TSA,
I didn't see a dog for a whole day that I could touch. Do you know what they wear in Toronto? They put their dogs in onesies.
Nice.
Like,
How do they go to the bathroom?
not jacket. Well, it snapped in the crotch, and I guess they
and they
roll up.
unsnap it?
Is it because it's cold, or they just wear them?
It's because it's freezing cold. It's like minus numbers.
Yeah, I'd like to see a picture of that, Kathy.
I love Toronto. Oh, you know what? Britt might have taken a picture.
hope.
They're really nice people, and Toronto's a beautiful city.
Yes.
So much nicer than some of the other cities.
Yes.
And they have something called Tim Hortons, which is not dog related. It's like Dunkin' Donuts.
Yes, I've heard of that.
And you get Timbits, which are like donut holes.
I think they have them in Pennsylvania because that sounds very familiar.
Yeah?
Yes.
Well, if you go, you have to get donut holes. Apparently, they're awesome. Timbits. Okay. But we're not talking about donuts
We're
or Toronto.
topic.
Kind of off
Talking
topic.
about makeup.
Everybody likes donuts.
I know. Nuts. Okay. Subliminals. Stay with us. We'll raffle off donuts.
Sorry.
Okay. So let's talk about part 3 of our series in Rescue Dogs. And Lauren's holding it up for you. It's an awesome guide for managing rescue dogs. And so pretty much following along, we showed you and taught you how to get the dog of your dreams. We last week talked about how to introduce it in your house. And this week, we're talking about managing it and training and all the stuff that you go forward with.
Right.
Oh, wait. We didn't talk about the mics. Do you notice how awesome these are? You guys are going to be able to hear us so much better.
Hello.
I want to grab one and start singing.
You should. I think that would be great. You should rap your
You get the dog stuff.
Yeah.
No karaoke dog
I'm
stuff.
gonna hold myself.
Sorry, we're
But the
here.
reason I did this was because a few weeks ago, I said avoid the pitfalls.
Oh, that's
And
right.
somebody thought I said avoid the pit bulls, which we
Right,
talked about
which we
last week,
did
which
not.
we never said.
Yes.
So I just want to make sure we get clarity. And I think I'm going to get a third one. So we each have our own. So if we have to break into
then
song,
we
you could take it
can,
off.
yes.
to the
Okay,
side.
I don't mind sharing.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
I do.
You know, and one thing that I wanted to say was, you know, rescue dogs sometimes are intentional and sometimes they're not. Like you wind up with a family member's dog. Eric just told me a story about somebody he knows who was 10 years old when her grandparents, who were very sick, had to give up their dog. And they gave it up and it got a nice home. And 10 years later, like fast forward to now, she sees an ad in a rescue group with a picture of a dog that looks just like the dog.
Oh, I got goosebumps.
And you know
Wow.
what? It was the dog. It was the same exact dog. 10 years later, they matched it with the ID microchip.
You're kidding.
And she's like, give me. She's 21 now.
Wow.
She's like, give me the dog. I'll take it. Can you believe that?
That's impressive.
wow. That's
That's
Well,
like,
that's messed up. One,
Yeah,
but
that's
I mean,
crazy.
at least you got the dog. I have 10 years, but still.
and the dog is just like, hey, how you been? You know dogs. Dogs are
Yeah.
like, oh my
Yeah.
God. They're just like, hey, walk around the house like you always knew it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Does the dog recognize her?
Yeah.
Really?
Okay, where have you
Very
been?
cool.
But, you know, in dog world, a minute, you go out and back to the
Right.
mailbox, or
They
you could
don't
go out for a
understand
week
time.
to Jamaica.
Mhm.
It's pretty much the
Yeah.
same thing. And they don't emotionally suffer. They're not like 99% of them are not like, oh my
No.
God, where's everybody? They're like, all right, forward thinking.
Right.
They
right.
look out the front windshield. They don't use the rearview mirror
Mhm.
like people, which would
Yeah.
make life much easier. People
Right.
didn't look behind them all the time.
Just to add on to that, because it's funny, somebody today in class was saying they feel sorry for their dog. And I'm like, why would you feel sorry for your dog? I want to be your dog.
Yeah, seriously.
Right? They have the best life ever. So
Yep.
even if they are in a rescue and they get put into 1 or 2 homes, they're probably awesome homes and they're getting, they're not cooking, they're not cleaning. Like, it's good to be a dog.
That's true. They don't have to clean anything. They get their
No.
own bed. They have what? A couple rules. like, whatever.
Yeah, which they want rules that they like discipline.
But think about that as a life.
Sleep all day.
I know.
Right? You don't have to work.
Yeah.
Although I don't think what I do is work. You don't have to work. And like maybe an hour a day, maybe an hour, you have to do something that somebody asked you to do that's easy.
Yeah.
And you get rewards for doing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you eat all day, you sleep all day, and you don't have to clean or cook.
No,
or
you don't clean up after
make
yourself.
your bed or do.
Cute you are.
Yeah.
And then you come to our school and you get to play in daycare.
Yeah.
And you have dog friends and your owner trains you really well. And you get off leash freedom and your life is awesome.
My next life, I'm going to be a dog.
I'm signing
a
up
Bergen
for
County
it.
dog.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're good pretty much lots of places.
That's true. That's true.
We just
When,
only know our
or
friends.
when we
dog.
have
I
trainer
think
meetings, we
good
talk
dog.
We
about
have gone so off topic.
Sorry,
And I'm
yeah.
sorry.
when we have
started
trainer
that.
meetings, we talk about whose dog we want to come back as. It's really funny.
Yeah, we do.
We do. Okay. So let's start out. Who gets the first
That would be me.
one?
I think Nancy.
Right.
All right.
Right. So you bring your rescue dog home. They're now comfortable with your house. Let's assume you have another dog, right? So you have to meet your other dog. And the first thing is you don't want to do it in the house, right? Because your other dog knows it's their house. Now, this could be if you have a dog in your house, or even if somebody else, if you're meeting two dogs together. You don't ever want to do it in your house. You want to do it in a neutral spot. Outside is the best thing you can do because that's neutral. It's outside. There's lots of space. You also don't want to do it in a tiny little space. We want to have the dogs have lots of room.
And other dogs, by the way, it might be the dog in your household, but it could be like your brother's dog who comes over on the weekend.
Which happens
Any
a lot.
dog in your life, your neighbor's dog, that's super important too. You don't want those fence fights.
Right. And a lot of times, people think, oh, just open the door and let the dogs run in and play. Please don't do that because sometimes it goes well, but more times it does not. When you're introducing two dogs, they should both be on a leash. And that doesn't mean you holding two dogs on a leash. Two different people should have them. You want to have your leash nice and loose. You don't want to have a tight leash because then the dog thinks, why are you uptight? There must be something wrong. And it just makes them pull more towards the other dog or think there's a problem. And that's really important to have a nice loose leash.
Yeah. And the calmer you are, the calmer the dog is. So if you're like,
Exactly.
the dog is like, oh my God. But if you're breathing and your shoulders are down, even though you're scared, just pretend you're not.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Oh my
Chances
God.
are it is going to be fine.
Mhm.
And then don't ever push the dog.
That's so important.
I like to, and we do this at the school when we're introducing dogs, we do walk by. So we just walk by, we let them sniff a little bit. If that goes well, remember body language, which I think one day we are going to talk about body language.
We are going to do a whole lecture on body language.
Right. But just because the tail is wagging doesn't mean everything's okay. Watch where the tail is. If it's shoved under the dog's legs, they're not happy.
Or super, super high over their back.
Yeah.
It's like the middle finger.
Exactly. And
My
that's a misconception because people are like, oh, it's up, it's wagging. No, it's not wagging in a positive way.
Yeah.
Look at their body language. Are they loose? Is their mouth open? Is their mouth really tight? That's not a good thing. Are they doing a lot of lip licking? That's not a good thing either. And if they're comfortable, then you can let them go and see each other. Let them sniff each other for a little bit. Don't let them stay at the party too long, and then call them out. Give them put a cookie in front of their nose and just guide them out. You don't ever want to just be like, okay, you're best friends, and then boom, now they're going to be together for the next 3 hours.
People make that mistake a lot.
Absolutely.
They unclip them and let them go run in their yard or on a tennis court or in an empty dog run. They're like, okay, meet each other.
Mhm.
Oh dear.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
You don't have any control if something goes wrong. And we really want you to have control because we want it to go well. First impressions, there's only one first impression. You want your dogs to have a good first impression of each other.
Right.
Is it my turn?
I think
We could talk for
you go.
hours about that.
Did you guys have anything you wanted?
A house with another dog. So my first thing is always having separate crates, right? You don't want to have two crates. I feel like a lot of times people think, let's put two dogs together. No, let's not do that. They want their own room, their own space. To that, we want them to.
I was going to say, what if you have limited space and you have to have the crate next to each other? What can you do in the middle?
Well, you can put a barrier.
Yeah,
That's
divide
fine.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely divide it. But
Definitely divide
Yeah,
it.
definitely divide it.
Yeah.
But having one giant crate for 2 dogs is not.
Oh no.
Yeah,
And
no.
a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
2 little dogs.
2 little
go
dogs in
a
one crate. Yeah.
And sometimes it works out, but it's just like people. You don't want to be with somebody.
You want your own
24/7.
bedroom.
I
Yeah, you
love my own
need-
bedroom. I
I
do
do
not
too.
share my
No.
bedroom. I would be very upset.
Well, we do share our own bedrooms.
It's our husband.
Well, yeah, you guys are married. That's different. I didn't make that
Sometimes
commitment
I
yet.
did like my own room, though.
You can have your own room.
we have our own crate.
Yeah.
But they could have a crate.
Yeah. The other thing too, you want to feed in separately. So I feed my dogs. I mean, I have 2 dogs at my house. They have their own crates. They're near each other, but they're still far enough away where they can kind of get out of each other's spaces if they want to. But I always feed them separately for multiple reasons. One, because my little one would eat the big dog's food and she would, bully him and he would never eat.
And
he
she'd
would
weigh
starve.
700
Right.
pounds.
She would be the biggest, tiniest dog ever. And he would just be a shriveled little thing. So feed them separate. The other thing too is you don't want them to get into a fight, right? Like there could be some guarding or reactive issues, and you don't want that.
Right.
So it's just better to keep them safe.
And to that point, your barrier between the crates, it has to be something they can't see through.
Yes.
Because if the crates are right next to each other and so are the bowls, you're going to get issues perhaps through, if
Yes.
you have a wire crate. So make sure it's something that they can't see through.
You know what? I had a student with 5 dogs and they were together for they were older dogs. So it's 7 years. They're all in this household. And she fed them each in a corner of the kitchen. It was a big kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And I had told her, don't do that. Can we just, change it up? Maybe put one in the laundry room, one in the bathroom, whatever, in a crate. And she was like, no, they'll never fight until they did.
Until they did.
Yeah.
And when you have 5, because 2, I think 1 or 2 didn't do it. When you have a big fight with multiple dogs, you are at a serious disadvantage.
Yeah.
And it was over a little bit of food. And
Right.
2 started it and others jumped in, and it was
Yeah.
a nightmare. So just take it from us. Make your
Right.
life less stressful and your dogs.
Yes. Another thing too I wanted to go over was when you have the dogs out, please make sure that you're watching them. No unsupervised time together. If you are not going to keep your full attention, not the dogs are out, I'm doing the dishes, but I'm still in the room or I'm cooking. No, you have to be facing and looking at the dog at all times. If you're not going to do that, they shouldn't be out together.
Mm-hmm.
God forbid anything happens. What if there's a food on the floor? You left a toy out or anything. You always just want to make sure that you are keeping your eye on them.
And we're talking about a new dog into the house.
The new dog, yeah. I mean,
Right.
eventually,
Eventually it
whatever.
gets better.
But this is week 1, right? The
Because
first
their
time that they're
personalities
together.
are changing. They're becoming more comfortable or
And
less
week
comfortable.
3, they're putting their feet up on the
Yeah.
coffee table. And
Right.
then you
Right.
could really have a kaboom week 3 and beyond.
Right.
And I think we went over a lot of this stuff last week
Mhm.
with introducing the dog into the house, but still it's really, really
Mhm.
important. So that's why we're trying to reiterate it again this week.
And that goes for inside and outside. Don't open
Yes.
the door and just let them run out because
That they
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. The last thing I want to go over really quickly, which I think is really important, is training, upping the training at least that week, and then eventually trying to be able to train them together.
Yeah.
I really like having both dogs out and training them together. Either having one tethered on place or in a sit or a down weight while you're training the other one, feeding the other one while you're training one, going back and forth. You want the other dog, the older dog, the one that's been there longer, to not feel neglected when the new one comes. You don't want to give all your attention to this new dog because your old dog, you could have had it for 5 years and now all of a sudden there's this new dog and he's like, what the hell? Why is this dog getting all the attention? So you don't want that to happen. So you want to do both dogs same time or even separately, put one away, but don't forget about the other dog.
Right. And it's a great distraction.
Right. It is
Your
a good
older
distraction.
dog that has been trained to have
Yeah.
this new dog, that's your distraction. That's hard to
And
get.
we want to make it real life too. So,
Yes.
if one dog's in the crate or whatever, it's
Yeah.
not really real life. You want the dog to still go to place when the other dog is out or, sit when the other dog's
Mhm.
there or whatever. So we want to make sure that this is working in your day-to-day life, not
Agreed.
just the training session.
And just like you teach come and sit, you also have to teach social tolerance.
Absolutely.
So that's why one is sitting and this one gets a cookie, and then that one is sitting and that one gets a cookie. I mean, you want to train the dogs to live harmoniously. It doesn't just happen.
Mhm.
You expect it will, I think, as you watch movies and Disney and whatever, and you're like, oh, everybody loves each other. Dogs love each other, but they don't always.
Yep.
And
And
it's like
leashes.
siblings.
Keeping them on leash is important
Yes,
too.
so important.
Please keep them on leash
when you're supervising.
Right.
when you're supervising them.
Because if you don't, again, something happens and you're lost.
I mean, anything can happen. What if the one dog, bumps into the other dog and then he's like, hey, I didn't like that, and then
Right.
that happened. It could be something super quick.
And it happens quickly.
Yeah.
You know what a good example of that is? The dog barking out the window,
Mhm.
and he's barking and he's like agitated about something, and the other one comes up next to him and he wheels around and thinks whatever just bumped him is actually what he's barking at outside.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And then you get a big fight. That
Yeah.
happens a lot.
Yeah.
So be aware of that. We see everything every day.
Mhm.
That's why we tell you these
Mhm.
things, so it doesn't happen to you.
And I feel, except for, you have boarding dogs and stuff or whatever, but we have multiple dogs in our house
We always
at all
do.
times, pretty much. So we totally get it. We pretty much follow this whole guideline. I mean, I don't have toys or high value stuff on the floor, and my
No.
dogs are always supervised when I'm out or when they're out. And if not, they're just in their crates, which they like.
You know what? Because they're animals.
That's
I mean,
I think we forget sometimes that
Yeah.
they actually are animals. Like we think that they're a part
domesticated, but still
They
animals.
are a part of the
I mean,
family.
like, oh, it's my fur baby. Like, it's not your fur baby. It's a dog. It'll be fine.
Yeah. And people have to understand that. That it's
It's
not
hard, though.
necessarily something you've done
No.
wrong that's brought you here, but you can do things better to hopefully prevent it or
Mhm.
manage it more quickly if it does happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So this is have a plan. I love plans. My first
So do we.
note to you is to dog proof your house when you're bringing in a new dog. Even if you have an established dog and dog proofing is done with that dog, I want you to do it again. And what dog proofing means is,
I heard something.
Oh, it's Julie.
Sorry.
what dog proofing means is like not having electrical cords around, making sure you don't leave things on counters,
Mhm.
just the same things you would do for a toddler,
Mhm.
you would do for your dog.
Absolutely.
Because dogs get shocked chewing cords all the time. They pull crap down on their heads. They learn to
Mhm.
jump on the counter and steal things because you leave it there. And you don't want your established dog who doesn't do this stuff to now start doing it.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
they might see the new dog jumping on the counter grabbing food,
Mhm.
and then they're like, "Oh, I didn't know we could do this."
Right. And then they
Yeah.
do it. Yeah.
And
It's the best.
It is.
Teamwork, right?
teamwork makes the
Right.
dream work.
Yeah, exactly.
And Lauren already touched on this. Make sure he gets time alone as well as time with the family. And it's really important to teach your dog to be by himself. And
Yes.
I think the people most guilty of it are the people who work from home or stay-at-home parents
Mhm.
or kids home from college. And because you're home, you think the dog should be out. But sometimes the dog wants to take a nap or wants to be by themselves. And sometimes they can't. Right? They won't shut themselves off, and they're
Right.
following you from room to room, and they get exhausted, and then their fuse gets short,
Yep.
and then you have little issues. So
Mhm.
what I would say is make sure that they go in for rest time. And even my dogs do it. And I have some senior dogs, and there are set times of the day where they're in their crate napping. And sometimes I don't have to put them there. They just go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dogs, I usually, like, if I'm upstairs and, we're hanging out, like, my dog's like, no, I want to go downstairs. And he goes downstairs and he
Right.
just lays in his crate. Like, he really likes it. So,
Well,
you like it? Hang there.
Think of it from the human perspective. You don't want to be around everybody all the time. You
Mhm.
want that time to be by yourself, as does your dog.
Yeah.
So if you have all these, if you're home all day with your dog, or if the kids are home from college, that's a lot of stimulation. They need to be by
And we have
themselves,
students who
too.
say, my dog follows me to the bathroom, and he waits for me outside the door. Don't let him do that.
Yeah.
That's no good.
Yeah, no.
I don't want him to have that level of, I got to be with you. I got to be with you. Because I
Right.
don't want anxiety and separation issues to come up.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm definitely all about leaving them in, having them nap.
You talk about all these things, and I've only been here 3 years, but I've had my dogs for a while. I've had my little one for 6 years, but we keep talking about all these things, and I totally did those things when I had my puppy. I was in college, which is stupid. Don't do that ever. But I was in college, it was like my junior year, and I was like, I want to have a puppy, and the dog went everywhere with me. I did have a crate. I definitely had a crate, and the dog slept. When I was home, it brought me to the bathroom. Now I started working, I'm like, wow, my dog is really, really messed up, but I was able to work through it. But, you know, if you just started it from the beginning, it was really hard to just
and look
break
how
through that.
far both of your dogs have come just by making a little less freedom.
Yeah, just a little,
I made that same mistake with my first competition dog. I thought she loved me, like, and she did, but she's Velcro. I'm like, look at this relationship.
Right.
And then I realized that when I tried to leave her in the show ring on stays and walk out, she didn't want to do that.
That was the other thing. Yeah, I bring her to the school and she'd
So
be crying, and I'm like, oh, that's my dog. Sorry.
I fixed it, and I attribute that dog to teaching me that lesson, and also how to fix it, whether it's obedience wise or just life wise. Every dog you have teaches you something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You may not have wanted to know what you're learning. But
and every dog is different.
Yeah.
So many people
Both
are like,
mine are completely
I've had
different.
10 German Shepherds. This one is not like the rest. No, they're not.
It's like people,
They're
like when you have kids, you know, you have
all
multiple kids,
different.
multiple kids. When you have a lot of kids, all the kids, they're not all the same.
No.
Each one has their own different
Everyone's
personality.
different.
It's the same thing.
although, you know what's weird? I grew up with the O'Connor family. They had 13 kids. They were like clones. Like
I feel
every
like
kid.
you have to be when you have that many.
Yeah,
Like
right,
one takes care of the
probably.
other, which takes care of the other, which takes care of the other, because you just have
They
no
probably
choice.
weren't even.
They had a lot of, they were
13 kids.
a lot of
That's
kids.
crazy.
One in diaper, one graduated college. Yeah, they all look the same. It was cloning back in the
That's
80s.
They're the
and
exception to the rule.
they are the exception to the rule. Yes. And I think you get the dog you're supposed to have, whether you like it or not. There's something you're supposed to learn from this dog in your life right now. And I know you hate to hear that if you're having a bad time, but you'll grow from it.
Yeah.
Growth is
And it will
painful,
get better. Absolutely.
It will.
Oh, it does get better.
Yeah.
Trust me.
And then you're
because
gonna look
I,
back
I
and be
broke
like,
right through it, and it was like,
and then
this
you're
is
like,
great.
oh, it wasn't that bad when you get your next dog. You forget.
Then you want
totally
another
forget.
dog.
Yes.
It's like kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh,
You're
God,
the
yes.
one it gets better, and it's like, oh, I should have another
Yeah.
one. And then
But
you're
it will
like,
get better.
Yeah, I don't think about that.
Don't-
Kids.
don't think about that. All right. So next, keep a record of the commands you're teaching to
Yes.
track your progress. I am big on tracking progress because, like, if I said to you, I'm going to get healthier, what does that mean? You don't know.
Mhm.
Am I going to lose weight? Am I going to exercise? Am I going to eat better? Drink more water? I left my water. There it is. Never mind. I would drink more water. But if you don't quantify what it means, you have no way of measuring it,
Yep.
right? So I don't know if I've made progress because I'm really not sure what getting healthy means. So with your dog, you have to keep a record of what you're teaching and make a little check mark when you do it, and maybe write 1 or 2 or 3 words, you know, and tell yourself how it went. And I promise you, if you do that with a notebook, you'll see progress. Too often people are like, oh, my dog's not making progress, but we know they are because we
Yes.
saw them 3 weeks ago and we remember what a hot mess they were.
Exactly.
But you have to soothe yourself and reward yourself by looking back 2 weeks and going, oh my God, yeah, look, he couldn't sit.
Yeah.
But now he can. It's not as long as I want, but it's progress. So measure your progress. And if you have 2 dogs, you got to track both of them.
Yes.
Right, which is hard because, you know, you have 2 dogs and you have to remember, okay, you can sit over there with that. You know, those check marks, you kind of feel like, you know,
Yeah,
oh, I did. Well, you know,
Right.
it's more confidence and you're just like, oh my God, I actually did something good. So
And when you
It's
don't see them,
rewarding, that's the word.
it's not on your dog. Like
Yeah.
you can't get frustrated at the dog if you're not training it. I don't
Right,
talk about
right.
hours, not about 5 minutes.
And
You
not
could-
like a novel, just
no, like 2 or 3 words.
sit at the word.
And-
if you don't write it down, it's kind of like if you're living in it, dogs will come in and they're tiny. Then they come back 2 weeks later and they're huge. And the owner's like, it doesn't even look like it grew, right? If you
Right.
have it every day, everything you've done, you'll be able to see each little benchmark. And it makes such a huge difference. Otherwise, because you're living in the moment, you don't even realize what your dog was like 2 weeks ago.
Absolutely.
And they
I-
learn so quickly.
I tracked every day of the first year of Never's training. I am an Evernote junkie.
Yeah.
You go back every day and you can track it. Oh, getting better, getting better. Ooh, it tanked.
Yeah.
Right. And then going back and fixing it. And it's really, I should publish that one day. Nobody would want to read it. It's like a zillion pages.
It is
but
a zillion
But it
pages.
really is like a primer on how to do it.
Right.
And if you have people in your life who want to help you train, they could initial the training day. And if you have kids, you could do like bonus points.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
Yeah,
if I
make
see
it
your
fun.
initials on here and I see progress, you're going to get
Yeah.
a reward.
It's a good idea.
Yep. Always play games. If you can gamify training for your kids, you are solid. But you got to figure out how to do that. We should do it. a Facebook Live on that.
Games for everything.
Yeah, we'll gamify your training.
Yeah.
It's so much fun, even for adults. Okay, teach family members the proper commands and rules. Oh, Lord.
Yes.
So let's talk about
That's
rules
a
first.
whole nother show.
The saboteur. Do you know who it is?
There's always one.
Yep.
There's
At least.
multiples.
At least.
There's usually a lot.
There's
more
usually
than
one for one thing, and then another person does something else, and another
Yeah.
person does something else, and then it's not.
The bottom line is you have to be consistent. And if you can't follow the rules, you can't train the dog.
Or play with the dog. You shouldn't be able to
anywhere near the
interact
dog.
with the dog if
You have
you
to move
can't
out.
follow the rules.
And I know you get tired of telling people, don't let him jump, and hearing,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I don't mind, or,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want you to feed him that. But my dog eats that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's just, it gets exhausting. And if you're in that state and you know somebody's coming home over who's a drain, just,
Yeah.
you know, put your
Put
dog,
your dog away.
in the crate, give him
Yeah.
a bone.
Or send
All
them
good.
to us and we'll talk to them.
You know what the worst is? When people talk to you through your dog. When they go, oh, I want to give you a cookie, but your mean mommy won't let me give it to you.
I'd be like, yes, your mean mommy will not let her give it to you.
Or just don't be friends with people that do that.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's family, right? They come over and it's like a holiday and you're like, oh,
My mother-in-law has
I was
done
just
that
gonna say, I
with
have
Riley.
Yeah.
She has.
isn't that,
Yeah.
it's so passive
And,
aggressive.
and it's something bad that Riley shouldn't be doing, like eating food from the table or something.
Is that like a family thing?
Yeah,
'Cause my
like,
grandmother would come over all the time, and I'm sitting there. I have it on video, actually. I should post it, okay? My brother took the video, and I'm like, Granny, what are you doing? Like, stop feeding the dog. She's like, I didn't feed the dog. I was like, then why is the dog sitting there staring at you, like salivating? I'm like, I just saw you. She just sit there and like feed the dog from the table. And she was like, oh, your brother told me to do it. I'm like, he is not the
Yeah,
owner of that
yeah.
dog. Like, you cannot listen to him.
it's like a
Just don't feed
huge
the dog from the table.
conspiracy.
No, my mother-in-law will be like, I can't feed you because she won't let me. She literally says that. It's funny.
Yeah.
I'd be like, she doesn't
Hi,
know what
Shirley.
you're saying. And no,
You
she
do
can't.
it. You know you do it.
And my mom just outright has her rotund little Jack Russell mix on her lap,
Oh.
eating it off her plate when she comes to my house.
Family members like that too. I don't
It's
know.
a
like,
whole
what do you
other
do?
show.
So
Now we're into
really,
Dr.
yes.
Phil land.
Yeah.
We're not going
absolutely.
there. And then teaching the proper commands. All right. So if you want your dog to come when you call on the word come, teach them to say give them a new word. They don't ruin. When the kids were little, they would say, come, I would train to hear.
Mhm.
And I would tell them, we're going to see who did a better job, you or me. And then they'd never use the word that I gave me because they would be helping me, which
Right.
meant they never ruined it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's awesome.
It was awesome. See, gamify it.
Yeah.
And then have a Saturday night thing. Who has the best training?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Sometimes it was them.
My mom's like, you do it. I don't want to do it. She's like, I don't care.
Your mom. She's gonna come to school one day.
No,
All right.
she's good. She's like, you take the dog. You're fine. She listens to my rules, though. So she's
That's all I care about.
Yeah.
If you own the dog and you have rules, somebody listens to it, all good.
yeah, she's good.
Let's talk about day one. Things to think about.
Oh my God, things. There's a list.
I'll do the first one. So before you got your dog, things may have scared him that you don't know about. You reach for him, you might duck.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe somebody hit him. Maybe he's just scared of hands. And a lot of people come to the conclusion, oh, he was beaten because when I raised my hand, he ducks. A lot of puppies, when you raise their hand,
Yeah.
they duck. And they've never been exposed to families and things. So
Right.
they could just be wired nervously. But understand that you
But
have
if I raise my hand at you, you're probably going to duck too.
right.
It's just not natural.
Right.
Right.
You
And
got to desensitize.
you can desensitize, you can counter condition. I mean, if you put your hand near them and give them roast beef, and then in 3 seconds you'll be over their head and they'll be like, I love that.
Right.
You also have to understand that even though he may understand words sort of, like you say sit and he did, don't think jackpot, it's a trained dog, because it's probably not, probably an accident, or he probably doesn't understand our definition of
Maybe
sit.
he just wanted to sit.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just go in saying none of the training that I'm seeing is actually worth the paper it's written on. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
I think so. That's good. All right. I'll do the next one because I love this one. It says, make sure your home is calm and quiet, at least for the first few days.
You like that one?
Because you know what I always say. I do like that, but
I know.
dogs don't like parties. So
Yeah.
you don't want to have like a big welcoming party with all
Yeah.
the neighborhood dogs and your family. It has to be calm. They have to get adjusted in a nice, calm environment.
It's so
And then
new.
you can, exactly. You can't be this crazy party atmosphere.
Because they're probably terrified. They're with somebody that
are.
they've never seen ever. And now they're going to a completely different environment. It's terrifying.
Right. And if you have 20 other people they've never seen ever.
And it's a long day.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
and
a
we were just
long
talking about,
day.
I went to Canada, right? So we went in the morning and then I went through customs and TSA and I got on the plane and I got to Toronto and I had to get my luggage. By the time I got to the hotel, the last thing I would have wanted to do was have a party and meet new people.
Yeah, no.
I just
You're
wanted to
exhausted.
lay in bed and go to sleep.
Yeah.
I like this one too.
Okay, who wants to do it?
I will do it.
Yeah, that's good.
Keeping the feeding schedule the same and sticking to the same brand of food
So important.
that they have been using. Your dog is going to be stressed enough being in a new house, like I just said, a new environment, new people, all that stuff. Just make everything the same, at least for the first day. You know, you don't want to change their feeding schedule. You don't want to change, right, the brand or the food
Right.
in general. Just ask them. They'll probably most likely give you the
some,
food
yeah.
that the dog is used to. Just do that,
know that sometimes you look at the food they're eating and you're like,
and you're gonna not
it's like
it.
chocolate covered
Yeah.
sugar bombs
Yeah.
for dogs. You're like, this is crap. Let me feed you good. But good food could run right through them.
Yep.
And their digestive tract is not prepared.
Right.
When you do change food, when they're calm and they're settled, you do 2/3 of the old food and 1/3 of the new food for like 3 days.
Mhm.
And then you switch it, 2/3 new, 1/3 the old, and then 3 more days, and then you're all the way over.
Right.
But you do not say, here's your new
They
high
can't,
quality
right. Yeah,
$90 bag
This
kibble.
is junk. Don't eat this anymore.
Right. Yeah. You can't go from junk to eating, you know, healthy foods. Like if I ate McDonald's for 5 years and then someone gave me like a piece of,
Right.
you know, celery, I'd probably be sick.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
the same thing.
And any dog, even if it's not a new dog, that's how you change their food.
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't just change it because dogs' bodies don't work the same way.
Right.
All right, I'm going to do this one because it's, you know, my pet peeve.
Mhm.
So when driving your dog home or anywhere, to the vet, to the groomer, to us, use a crate or a dog seatbelt because safety first.
Mhm.
And I never want your dog to be loose in the car. God forbid you slam on the brakes. He comes forward. He's going to get hurt. You could get hurt. He could be flung from the car.
Mhm.
There's so many things, and I think we touched on this on another one of our lives, but car safety is near and dear to our hearts.
Yes.
Probably because we've known so many dogs
Right.
and
And
who've gotten killed.
And it is a law that you actually, in New Jersey at
Yes.
least, I don't think in New York, but in New Jersey, your dog has to be confined.
And if they
Whether
pull
it's
you
a
over,
seatbelt-
Right,
yeah,
get a
if they
ticket.
pull you, actually,
they
I
had
was
to pull
told,
you over for something else.
I was actually told that that's not true.
Really?
Yes, that they can actually pull you over if your dog is not.
Really?
Yep.
You've been warned.
Yeah.
You have been warned. So yeah, at least a seatbelt, tethered, or a crate.
And somebody
And the crate needs to be tethered.
Yes.
Also, which I feel like a lot of times people just like
Put the
throw a
crate
crate in their back
yeah.
seat, but then you're driving, the dog's going like this,
It's
and you know
rolling
whatever.
in the back seat.
it's like a
rolling on the
grocery
floor.
bag, people.
Yeah.
Right? What happens when you slam on the brake or take a turn
Yeah,
too hard? Your
it's gonna
groceries
go-
fall all over it. So what happens to your crate.
Yeah.
Also, dogs in laps. People say that all the time.
Yes.
I'll just hold him in my lap. Okay, do you hold children in your lap? I don't think so. And if you stop shorter, the airbag comes out. Dead dog, injured dog, and
Yeah.
you too. So please don't hold them in your lap. I don't care if they're a tiny puppy.
Or
I want
hanging
them
out the
safe.
window. That's
Okay.
a good one. Right?
No
And we-
hanging
we
out that
see that a
window.
lot.
We do all the time.
Right.
What's Mud doing?
It's Al, and he said Mud has his own set of PBA cards.
Oh, good.
Between that and
Good
his
for him.
handsome face, I know Mud will get away with being untethered, uncrated.
My dog's names are Titan and Ayla. So if you want to just send those over to the school, they
right.
can have their own too.
I'm sure he does not just throw his dog in the back seat.
No,
I don't think he does.
No.
I think
Alice.
he's kidding us.
he's kidding.
All right. The next one is make sure that your dog knows their new potty area. And that is so true because you don't just have to let them out in the backyard and pee and poop all over the backyard. Take them to a spot. You decide where the spot's going to be, just like with your other dog.
Mhm.
So that way they're going in the same spot consistently and they're not just going wherever they want. And take them out more frequently than you think they probably need
On a leash.
on your leash.
So
of
they go
course,
where you
'cause
want
you're
them
taking
to.
them where you want them.
Right.
Because, they are sometimes that gets moving a little.
Mistake of changing their food.
Yeah.
You're going to be out there
Well,
a lot.
You're going to be out there all night because
You could also bang some wooden stakes into the ground, like the thigh,
Yeah.
run some surveyor tape around it so they have a visual marker. If you really want to be extra cool and make it go faster, you can put a bucket upside down out in your area. Before you take the dog out, load it up with a piece of roast beef or cheese, and then take the dog out. And he's going to be like, get me to my cheese spot. And he'll be attracted to go back there.
Yeah.
So that can make it pretty quickly.
I do too.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
That is a good idea. All right. The next one, which I love, is crate train from day one.
Yes.
If you're going to use a crate. We use crates. I have 2 dogs, so I, of course, use crates. You have multiples, and Riley's in a crate now. But the first day is really important because that's the day that you're setting the rules, right? So if you let the dog sleep on the bed or jump on the counter or do anything like that or go to the bathroom wherever it wants, it's going to think that those are the rules for the rest of its day.
Absolutely.
And you just want to do it from day one. No jumping on the counter, no pottying in the house, and you sleep in a crate or, whatever. So if it's never been in a crate before, getting comfortable playing crate games, tossing food in there, feeding meals in there, giving high value bones in there. Just something to make them love the crate. If they want a pad or a blanket, you can put that in there. Some dogs chew on blankets.
Yeah.
My dog likes a plain.
If it's a brand new dog coming in.
My dog likes a plain mat, nothing on it. My other one likes something fluffy. So,
Anything fluffy.
Anything fluffy. Yeah. She sleeps in the scarf bin, but we don't have to go over that. She'll sleep anywhere. But and we want the dog to be comfortable.
And some dogs have crate anxiety, and that's a whole different thing.
Well, that's a whole thing.
But we're talking about your average dog who's probably been in a crate,
dog.
like transporting from the rescue and things like that.
Yeah, they're probably in a crate at the rescue.
Right?
Yeah.
So we feel it's easier to give them less in the beginning and then give them
And
more
then
rather than give them the whole farm and have to take it back.
Right.
Like
It's going to be harder to take it back, I think, than just doing
absolutely.
it from day one.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And I also, my last point to this is to teach them the schedule of your life from day one.
Yeah.
I don't stay home all day with a new dog. I'm like, hello, welcome to my life. It's a little nutty, but you'll figure it out. And all of my puppies go to the school on day one. When I was doing the program in the schools for children with autism, my dogs would always go with me. Dog shows, I take them anywhere when they're new to me or young that I know they're going to go to eventually. So I expose them to everything. And I really feel like it's a sink or swim. And I also think it's false advertising. If you modify your life for a week or two and you're home and you're hovering and then you go to work, the dog's like, what the hell?
Right.
Yep.
Like, what is this? So I think you have to, if you have a normal, stable, emotionally stable dog, you just live your life. If you have a nervous dog, maybe you make some concessions.
Right.
But for the most part, I don't want you to modify. And them later. And now his whole world is
Going to go back to work one day, and then the dog's like, "What happened?"
Or anything. Go to the grocery store. Do whatever.
You're going to leave the house.
Yeah, you have to leave the house. You can't stay in the house forever.
You
No
don't
puppy maternity leave.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
I
get
feel you on that.
Yeah.
You
Wait,
do not
you
need a
don't get
puppy maternity leave.
I mean, you would want one, but it's not good.
No.
Live
Well,
your-
we work at the school, so it's easy. So we just bring the dogs with us. But
Side benefits.
there's side benefits. You could bring your dog to us, and we will take care of it.
That's really, because some people say I have a puppy and they're home all day long, and I have a dog walker come in the middle of the day, and I think, gosh, especially when they're young, they're sponges. They don't need to be sensory deprived. They need to go on walks. They need to meet new dogs. They need to see the world. So when they're home all day and they just get out of their cage for half an hour and then they're back in, and the rest of the day they're stuck there, I think developmentally there's some challenges because of that, even with a good stable dog. So
I agree.
We don't like that plan. All right.
Agreed.
So this wraps up our 3-part series. We're going to have something super cool next week. We didn't point out, are you guys seeing the hearts for Valentine's Day? We should have said Happy Valentine's Day.
Sorry.
They're
That's why I'm
wearing pink.
red, yeah.
Look,
or pink.
Okay, this is kind of pink.
You're close.
I'm close. And as always, we will put a link in the comments so you can get our super awesome little PDF guide. We would love if you would like and share the page with people and the video, somebody you know with a rescue dog who could use help, because who couldn't use help? If you're not a student, you can join our free closed Facebook group, and that's where we do a lot more training stuff. We are more on the education side of it. you'll notice at this page, we have a lot of silly things and questions and memes and stuff like that. But if you would like more training information, you want to get down into the nitty gritty of how to get your dog to do things that they don't do, or maybe stop doing things you'd like them to not do, come to our free Facebook group. Now, if you are a student, just comment and we'll send you a private message so you can join our school private. Yeah, it's like a little school
VIP
clubhouse.
Yeah.
They're so cute in that group. They ask each other, you want to go on a play date? You want to meet at the woods and go on a hike? It's adorable, but we also do training in there too. So you have one of two things, and we will put links in the comments, especially for that group that is for the non-students. But if you are a student, private message us, we'll get to you. All right, so that's it for today. We will see you guys next week. Of course, if you need us, you know where to find us, and we hope to see you at the school. Happy Valentine's Day.
Bye. Bye.